Hello. I want to thank you for tapping in here with me again today for a little bit of evolution and truth. Now, today's topic, we're going to be talking about change. Now, change is essential if you're trying to evolve. Everything on this planet changes. You have changing, your time changes, your seasons change, the weather changes, the temperature changes. Everything changes. It changes from day to night, changes from hot to cold. There's always change and evolution. Now, so the one constant thing you can rely on in this world is change, because it's constantly, everything is changing. Look at how much it costs to maintain a household in 1927 versus what it costs now. Look at what it cost 5 years ago versus what it costs now. There's always change. So that's the one thing you can count on. Now, with that being said, it's amazing to me that you can count on change on in so many aspects in life, but when you change as a person, those people who do not change will try to make you feel bad. Not because you're doing something bad, because now you're shining a light on the changes that they do not want to make, or is just shining a light on who they truly are. So you always have to make these changes for yourself, and you have to stand 10 toes down on your changes. Because like I said, just because someone who you've given a quote unquote label to, your friend, best friend, father, mother, daughter, does not matter. These are labels. That does not mean that that person has your best interest at heart. People have their own motives. So don't get caught up in these labels or titles that you've given someone and thinking just because they have a certain title that they have your best interests at heart. When you change, you should be changing for you. That is how you're going to make these changes stick, and they're going to be successful in your life. Now, to give you a couple quotes from one of my favorite philosophers, Alan Watts. The only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance. Now, for me, that rings very true, because you can have people, oh, I'm going to do this. Oh yeah, I see. I need to change this. Like, okay, I'm going to change this when such and such happens. So you're putting it off. That's you can do that, but once again, just like the quote says, just plunge into it. You need to jump into it. If you see you need to change something, you only have the now. The now is the only thing that exists. You don't know, so you can say, all right, in a month or 2 weeks, I'm going to do X, Y, Z. Do you know you're going to be alive in a month, in 2 weeks? No, you don't know that, because the only thing you know is right now. Right now, when you're speaking and hearing this, is the only thing that exists is right now. So the illusion of time exists so that you can have something to refer to. So does 5 o'clock truly exist? No, it's just something that you can look forward to, so you can make plans and appointments and so on. So next week, does that exist? No. Now is the only thing that exists. So you have to move from now if that you truly are committed to changing. So let's dive into another one of Alan Watts' quotes. You have no obligation to the person you were 5 minutes ago. Once again, I love that quote. But for me, like I said, I look at it as I have no obligation to the person I was a second ago. For me, when I'm saying I'm going to do something, I move from it right then and there. So when I made changes in my diet, I was doing a lot of research on things. I had my pantry was stocked full of all kinds of junk that was just not good for me. The first thing the majority of people say is, you know what? When all this is gone, I'm going to do X, Y, Z. I was like, you know what? I already decided. I said, you know what? I'm going to start eating better. And boom, got a trash can. I don't know how much money I threw away in the trash, but I threw all that stuff away because I decided in that moment that, hey, this is what I'm going to do. I wasn't going to put myself on some timeline and just because I've already spent that money. No, I said I was going to do it. So I moved in that energy now because, as I said, that is the only thing that exists is right now. Now, it's hard, depending on who you are around. It's very hard for people to change because they don't change. When you change, you have to move accordingly. So there might be other things that you're used to doing that you have to change. Let's say you want to stop drinking, right? It would probably be smart to not go hang out in the club with your friends on the weekends if you know that that's all they're going to be doing and they're going to be, hey, man, you can have a drink, blah, 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 and this, that. If you don't have the willpower to do that, then you might not want to go do that. If you know you like having a glass of wine after such and such event, then, hey, you might not want to go do that event. You know, you watch football games with the boys and now, you know what, hey, let's go ahead and have. No, you need to change those things. That might require you to change the people you hang out with. Are these truly your friends? Or are these people that you have fun with? There is a difference. So people get attached to these things and then it's hard for them to change because they don't want to, when you change, let things go. So if you weigh 200 pounds and now you weigh 150 pounds, those clothes that they might have been some of your favorite outfits and you wore them for years, but now you lost that weight. But now, so what are you going to do? Look ridiculous in those big clothes? No, you're going to have to change the clothes that you wear. You see what I'm saying? There's always, once you change one thing, then other things, there will be other dominoes that will have to fall as well if you're committed to that change. So stay committed to whatever you say you're going to do and just dive right in. Those things that fall off, whatever they may be, things, people, it does not matter. They were meant to fall off in order for you to make that change stick and be successful. Now, the hardest thing when changing is, like I said, it's the friends and the family aspect. Now, like I said, are these truly your friends? Are they truly your family? Family is those that you can rely on, you can trust. These people have your back. They love you. They support you. Keyword, support you. So if these are true friends and family, then they're going to live up to those titles. They see that you're trying to make efforts to better yourself. Anybody that is not supporting you and being a cheerleader, then they don't have your best interest at heart. As much as that hurts to believe that, trust me when I tell you, that's just how it is. These titles, just because you want something or you believe something, does not make it true. I'm making this video because these are things that I noticed along my journey, and it took me a while to accept it, and it hurt because you're carrying that energy. Oh no, you start making excuses for them. No, that's not what's going on. No, that's exactly what's going on. So once again, if you're trying to make these changes for something that is making you better, then whatever it falls off, you need to let it go. If you say, hey, I want to lose 50 pounds. Now you lost 5 pounds, 10 pounds. Oh man, I'm losing weight. Weight 250. You start making excuses. Do you want to keep this weight? No, you said you want to lose 50 pounds. So with losing 50 pounds, that weight has to go off. So you don't sit there and hold on to the weight and say, no, I don't want to lose that weight. No, you've already said that's what you want to do. So I want to be a better person. So whatever falls off, i.e. your friends, even family, you need to let it go. Because if they're not living up to these titles, whatever definition you give it, if they're not living up to that title, you need to let them go. It took me a very long time for the family, more so the family aspect. Friends, I can release that a lot easier than I could the family aspect, because I'm very family oriented. I will also make a video on family as well, because that's a subject all within itself. But it was the family one that got me, because I was making these changes and I was becoming I wasn't a bad person before. I just had a lot of programming that I needed to release. But releasing that programming, that was from childhood wounds and other traumas and this, that, and the other. Now, when people are holding on to these same traumas and same wounds and they don't want to face those things, they start to make you feel bad or project things onto you because they don't want to look at themselves, because it's not a delightful process depending on what you're trying to change. But yes, that change could sometimes come along with some pain as well. So I faced all of that. And as I started to become better and see things more clear, I'm like, wow, like, why are these people changing up on me? And I'm like, man, okay. So I wanted to keep holding on to them, but they were inflicting a lot of pain on my heart. I'm like, so I had to make a choice. But for a long time, I was sacrificing myself by trying to hold on to people who were not supporting that change that I wanted to do. And a very good scripture that will back that up is Luke 4:24. Depending on which version you look up, you're going to get between hometown and country. But one of them say, I truly tell you, he continued, no prophet is accepted in his hometown. So say these people, once I started making changes and I started to see how good I felt, I started telling people, hey, I knew a lot of things were people holding on to different traumas and wounds and this, that, and the other. So I'm trying to tell, hey, if you do this, that, and the other, people don't want to hear that because they don't want to face those things. So when you're trying to tell someone something, and I found myself, like I said, after I retired back in where I'm from, in my hometown, they wasn't trying to hear that. Only thing they could see was the person they knew growing up. Oh, you don't know nothing about this, blah, blah. It's just, they're blindsided. They already pegged you for who they think you are, who you should be, or whatever the case may be. Not seeing for the person I evolved into that was standing before them that day. Because the person who came home from the military after 20 years and retired when I was at my lowest, so they probably pegged me for who they thought I was at that point. Oh, this is blah, blah, blah. So when I changed and I'm completely different, then that person no longer existed. But they already established who I was. Like, nah, that's who. A version, sure. Don't judge me according to a season in my life of who I am currently standing in front of you. A lot of people can't let that go. So when I saw that, I had to let them go. Because like I said, I was holding on to something that was holding me down, holding me back. Because when I'm stepping more so into the spirit, it's like a balloon with helium in it. So you let that balloon go, guess what it's going to do? It's just going to keep on rising. It's going to keep going up, 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 and up, and up. If you're trying to walk into that in the essence of your spirit, you're like a helium balloon, right? But the more things you attach to, it's like hooking yourself onto an anvil. I don't care what helium up in just a regular old store-bought balloon. You attach it to an anvil, it's going to stay on the ground. It's not going to lift that anvil up off the ground. That is what it's like when you're trying to evolve and you stay attached to things. You have to cut all those strings. So it really depends on what you're truly trying to do. And that's where a lot of people get stuck, is they don't want to cut that string because, oh man, that's my mama, that's my cousin, that's my brother, that's my best friend. No, if that's who they truly are, those go ahead and write out a definition for that best friend. A best friend has boom, 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 boom. A mother has boom, 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 boom. A brother is boom, boom, boom. Now, if that person is not living up to that entire definition, then that's not who. No, they don't have your best interest at heart. I don't care what title you have, best friend, mother, sister, it doesn't matter. If they don't support you, they don't have your best interest at heart. That is what you should move from. If a person has your best interest at heart, it will show. Now, once you involve love with that, this is what trips people up, because you can't see past that love and that loyalty. And that's what held me back for a very long time, is I love extremely deep and I have extreme loyalty. So those two things, it felt like if I didn't sacrifice myself, I was betraying them, not realizing sacrificing myself is betraying myself. No. If you can't support me, I have to let you go. I don't care what the title is. And as I was changing, I was telling, I've had conversations with family members saying, hey, I will never, ever give someone power over me again, because having lived through that 20 years in the military, not having the freedom of choice is huge. You don't. You have no freedom of choice in the military. They tell you what you will and what you won't do. And they make that very clear if you get confused on it. So when you give up that right and you finally get it back, and I realized just how powerful that was, I was like, I'm never giving that up. I said, and I told my mother this on, we had multiple conversations surrounding this. I was like, I will never give my power up. And I said, there's no one in my life that if they're acting up cannot be cut out. Because I was understanding how things go. If you're truly trying to evolve, everyone cannot come with you. You might want to. You might think everybody will come with you, because right now, especially if you're in your low season, because you're not doing better than them. You're not shining a light on them. But once you start stepping up and you start evolving, then those same people who wasn't giving you any resistance before may start giving you resistance. I'm not saying that your family will and your friends will betray you. I'm saying if this happens when you're changing, and you're changing for the good, if those people are not supporting you, then they're showing you who they truly are and what they want for you. So at that point, it's up to you if you're going to sacrifice yourself or not, because they have no problem letting you sacrifice yourself. I promise you that. If someone is supporting you, it will be apparent in their actions, not their words. Don't fall for the words, because people are going to tell you what they think you want to hear, or what's going to keep you under their control. Always accept what someone is showing you. And that's one of my favorite sayings that another old time philosopher, my grandmother, used to say, when someone shows you who they are the first time, you better believe them. And when she told me at a very young age, I always remember that. And I moved accordingly. See, I can give quote after quote from my grandmother, but none from my mother or my father. None. They didn't give me that guidance and so on. So when I finally woke up to what was going on, I saw, I was like, you know what? I got to let these people go because they don't have my best interest at heart. And I was literally hurting myself. I could feel it in my heart. It was like, nah, this ain't this. I should not be feeling like this. Because as I started feeling good, it was like they would do something to make me get in my emotional body. They would inflict some kind of pain. I was like, okay, you know what? Now I see what's going on. So I'm making this video for you to be aware of possibilities of things that could occur on your journey, because when you if you're truly committed to changing, and when I say changing into your highest and greatest version, if someone around you in your immediate circle has no desire of being in their highest and greatest version, you're stepping more so into the light. So think about it like this. When you're asleep in the middle of the night, let's say 2 o'clock in the morning, and somebody comes in the room and cut on that light switch, you are straight up annoyed when you look up and you see that light hit your eyes, but because you was in the dark. It's annoying. You get mad. That's exactly how it is when people that you are around are in the dark. Like I said, these are all words. Some people say when they have demons attached to them. The less complicated you make it, the more easy it is to get over all these words and definitions, because it's just energy. When people are, let's just break it down to two simple things. You're either in the light or you're in the dark. So if these people are in the dark, and now you start walking more so in your highest version of yourself, which is in the light, right? You start going around these people, they're going to become annoyed because you're shining a light on the things that they haven't changed or have no desire to change. So what tends to happen is those people are going to try to pull you back down, knock you off your square, to bring you back down to their level. It's all about, it's stages. So if they want to stay, they're comfortable in life being on stage 15 in life, and now you're on 25. Oh, no. Oh, you think he's better than us. We got to knock him down a couple. We got to humble him and this, that, and the other. That's how people see these things. That's exactly what people tried to do to me on my path. I'm like, how can you humble somebody who is already humble and who constantly, who is trying to literally destroy their ego every chance they get? How can you humble somebody who's already doing that to themselves? By telling yourself that, oh, he think he better, see, these are all things that their ego is trying to keep them stuck in their little box. You don't remove yourself from your box. Stay that way. Change is not easy. It truly isn't. Just think about how many people say they're going to do something and don't do it. January 1st is the biggest change illusionist you can find. Go in the gym January 1st. And then watch how crowded it is all in January. And watch how every day after about February 1st, watch how this dwindles down more and more. Those people, I'm going to get in the gym. Then they don't commit to changing. They just fall off. Commit to it. Jump in. Immerse yourself in it. And anybody that's not throwing you a rope or a lifesaver, they want you to drown. So that's going to be the message for today. And I hope this message is inspiring you to change and become that highest version of yourself. And I hope to see you in the next video. And as always, if this message inspired you, uplifted you, gave you anything, I'd ask that you go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe if you already haven't did so. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next message.